Passionful family, it's Dee. I know it's been a long time. I have a reason. I've been doing a lot. Matter of fact, I've been doing the most. But guess what? I've been doing the most with the Holy Ghost. Yes, y'all. And I'm back. And let me tell you, today's episode was worth the wait. Y'all want to know why? Because I'm not in here having tea by myself. I'm having tea with my first featured passion-filled poet to be launched under Dee's Passion-Filled Experience. Ooh, just like that. Put that tea in that cup. We got to throw that pinky up. Hey! I want to introduce y'all to Nevaeh Edgecombe, who goes by the name Solara. Welcome, boo.
Hi, it's amazing to be here.
Woo! Tea in the cup. Welcome to Tea with Dee. Y'all ready for this? This one was worth the wait. Let me take a quick sip. Y'all want to know what's in the cup, right? Well, Nevaeh, I gotta let them know because I wanted to put water in my cup today, y'all. I really did. But my sister in the background, hey sis.
Hey.
Say you can't have tea with Dee without tea in your cup. But last Sunday I had some oral surgery and I had to take care of this wisdom tooth. So I just wanted to put some water in my cup, but she gave me some Carmen chamomile. Let me take another sip. Nevaeh, before we jump in, boo, tell them what's in your cup, boo.
So I got nothing crazy, just some decaf premium green with a little bit of honey. Simple.
Yes, for the honey in the cup. And you know how we do. When we put tea in the cup, we throw the pinky up. But enough about our tea. It's time to get into this conversation because let me tell you, this girl right here, poet, dancer, a teen entrepreneur. She's doing all the things. And today we're going to get to know her on another level. Okay? Y'all ready for this? You ready, girl?
They ain't ready. I'm ready.
They ain't ready. Let me put my cup down because we jumping right in. Tea with Dee, y'all. So, Nevaeh, girl, I've been prepping. Have some notes. I got some questions for you, right? But the theme of today's session is, what do I have to do to know myself, right? And Nevaeh is only 14, okay, y'all? So
I know I don't look like it. It's okay. I've come to terms with it. But yes, I am 14.
she's only 14, right? But like I said at the beginning, not only is she 14, she is a poet. Who knows it? She got a book, y'all. She got a book. Not only is she a poet, she's a dancer, but she has been on this teen entrepreneur journey. I want you to tell our viewers, what did it take for you to really get to the place where you felt, I know myself, and not only do I know myself, I know who I am, and I'm ready to step into that.
Well, I mean, I guess that you could say that that's a pretty loaded question. There's a lot of layers to it. I still think I am discovering myself. I don't think I'm 100% certain of who I am, but I know where I want to be. And, there are people in interviews who will say, I'm not your average, da-da-da-da-da. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I'm not your average teenager, because I'm your average teenager. I'm just your average teenager with dreams that aren't average and parents that aren't average.
Okay.
My momager is on another level. She is something different. So I feel that my parents are what shaping me into who I want to be, and they're really the ones who are helping me know myself, because without them I really wouldn't have anything that I do now. First off, the basics: clothes, food, shelter. They provide that and a surplus. And mom goes above and beyond with giving me the things that I want and need. Like, I really wouldn't have had the opportunity if she wasn't the one who found it.
Wow.
So I truly thank them for everything that they have done and everything that they are doing, because where would I be without them? Lord knows.
Well, first and foremost, I can co-sign on the mama part because her mama is also my business coach. But we'll talk about that later, y'all, because y'all need to cop her, all right? But anywho, so I want to talk about the layers of your life, right? Because I know 14-year-old, you have the teenage layer, right? The poet layer we're gonna come back to because she got a book out and we're gonna talk about that. But I want you to talk about your life as a dancer. When did that start? What kind of music are you into? Or, tell the people a little bit about Nevaeh the dancer.
Okay, so Nevaeh the dancer. There's also a lot of layers to that one. I started around the age of 3 with dancing because mom put me into a dance class at Fancy Feet. And I took that and ran with it.
Literally.
Yeah, definitely. Mom put me in a ballet class when I was around the age of 3. And from that point on, being in front of the stage and being in front of many people, I was just like, yeah, I like this. Yeah. I like this. So then a couple years in between, I believe, I did the classes in like different sets. So I did one class, took a break, did another class, took a break, and then did another class. I did 3 total dance classes. So after my break, I went into gymnastics.
Really?
And I was about 5. Okay. I was about 5 going on 6 into that one. And gymnastics was very fun. It was a new experience. I lost all the flexibility that I had. I lost all of it, but I definitely enjoyed it. And the outfits were so cute too. In ballet, we had the recital outfits,
Yeah.
We had this white tutu with gold design. In gymnastics, we had this red leotard with a half tutu.
Yeah.
And kisses and it was a one shoulder, and I was like,
I see the one shoulder action going on right now.
I'm a big one shoulder fan, so definitely. And then came time for hip hop jazz, and I think that's where I really realized that dancing is for me.
Wow. Because
hip hop, it is something about hip hop and just being able to have fun with it. Like there's no real rules to dancing. I don't think there's any real rules. People say that they can't dance, and I don't think that you can't dance because anyone can dance. You just have to find your rhythm.
Yeah.
So, yeah. That outfit, the hip hop jazz outfit, was a black and pink type skirt situation. I believe it was a long sleeve. It was a long sleeve, shimmery sequin, pink and black, small short skirt type situation. That was really cute. I remember that, and I had my hair in a bun with straight hair in the back. I was definitely feeling myself a little bit. So, yeah.
It's amazing how those memories, right, from your childhood dance experience has also infused this teenage you, right? So, one thing you mentioned was finding your rhythm, right? I know you're also a teen entrepreneur, you're doing these things, right? How did you continue throughout those years to find that rhythm? What was it? What was the first thing that you did as a teen entrepreneur, and how did you get that started? And are you still working on that, or is dance, the main focus with the writing?
Well, I guess I could say, even though this contradicts what I said about finding a rhythm, there ain't no rhythm with anything that I'm doing. I'm doing so much at the moment. I don't know where I'm at. But it's like a blissful chaos. Like everything is going great. It's just a lot. Yeah. And I'm 14, so I need to work on, managing what I have. I need to learn how to manage my workload. Thankfully, I have my parents to help me with that, because I would also be very lost if I didn't have them. But yeah, there isn't really any rhythm to what I do. As for being a teen entrepreneur, that has definitely taken a little bit of a backseat because I've had so much going on these past few years. But my first real point where I started pushing my business, Fearless Fashions LLC.
Okay, I see. Y'all see this, right? Y'all see this? Okay, yes.
My mom gifted me an LLC for my 10th birthday.
Okay.
And in the 6th grade, we were going on a trip to Boston for 5 days. Mm-hmm. So mom was like, you're going to make your own money for this trip. So at one of her pop-up shops that she was hosting, she got me a table.
Okay.
And she helped me gather all of my merchandise, helped me set up my table. It was very nice, very nicely presented. And there was just a variety of nails, rings, bracelets. It was so colorful. Like, if you know anything about mom,
I know
she's a very colorful individual.
Yes.
Colors are her thing.
Yeah.
And I definitely think that kind of rubbed off on me. So it was just a really colorful spread on my table. And I made a good amount of money. So when I was on my trip, I didn't have to worry about not having money for the things that I wanted or the things that I needed, because mom helped me make that money, wow. Which gave me a bit of like working experience and a bit of a feel on how it is to make your own.
And you got that confidence.
Yeah, I was like, ooh, I like that. I was like, wait a minute.
This feels good. Yeah. Yes. All right, y'all. So, I want you to close your eyes for a moment. Okay. And I want you to think about this phrase that I'm going to tell you. And then I just want you to, when you're ready, open your eyes and speak to this phrase. Okay?
Okay.
Pressure turned into purpose. Pressure turned into purpose.
Okay. Pressure turned into purpose. Well, I guess what I could say about this is, even though I love being in the spotlight, once you're in the spotlight for so long, people start to expect it from you. And sometimes you do want to take the back seat. But because you have so many fans waiting for you, you're going to have to put in that effort and give something great.
Fans or haters, because they waiting too. But I digress, boo. Go ahead.
You got to pop out and show out. Yeah. I mean, while I may not be performing outside, I definitely perform a lot in school. I'm very well known, and I have definitely been very well known throughout my school years. In middle school, by the time I was an 8th grader, everyone knew who I was. I actually had a little fan club too. Okay. I was like, wow, I did this.
You did it, girl.
You
did it.
And they were the sweetest. They were the sweetest group of kids too. I love every single one of them, and they're about to be in the 8th grade now. So my babies are growing up. Aww. And now that I'm in high school, which is definitely where I see a bit more of the hate and the jealousy and the envy. I still perform a lot. I've done talent shows. Actually, there was just a talent show that came up on June 12th, and I choreographed a dance with one of my friends. And she's not a dancer, but she wanted to dance with me. So I was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this, that, and that. And we're gonna put on a show. And we did. We did great. We did it. We did the thing, and I'm so proud of her, and I forever and always will be proud of her. But it's because I know that people are waiting for me that I'm gonna push, and I'm gonna turn my pressure into a purpose, because they want it.
Yeah.
They need it.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show them, and I'm gonna exceed their expectations.
That's excellent. That's just like, whoo, flowing right into where I want to go next, right? Because when we speak about knowing that someone is attached to our purpose, even on the days when we don't feel like doing it, like today, right? I could be in my bed, girl, with all of this going on, right? But there's an assignment on it. So even you being only 14 and realizing that, you know what, they want it, they need it. They need to know that as a teen, you can do this. As a teen, you can publish your own book. As a teen, you can perform in front of others and inspire them, even though they may not be a traditional dancer, to dance, right? So what I want you to think about, right, as you get ready to step out on the outside stages, because this summer she will be performing on the outside stage, and that's not going to be the first time, all right? But more about that coming soon. But you're getting ready to leave the inside, mama, right? Because what I've realized over the 4 months that I know you, right, is that you've been doing a lot of behind the scenes work, right? You've been, doing the things, but behind the scene. How are you preparing yourself for the outside stage? That's number one. And how are you preparing yourself to stay humble once you start elevating? Because the elevation is coming. It's on your life, right? From the moment that I started working with you, I already told you this book it had a purpose. That's why right, what it took to push it out. But that book has a purpose, and it has to hit the earth in a major way. So how are you, or are you thinking about how you're going to keep yourself humble while you rise to the top?
Well, I guess, how do I say this? Thinking about keeping myself humble, there's always going to be someone above me.
Let them know. Say that part again.
There's always going to be someone above me, and I'm not the best thing since sliced bread. I know that. So I'm going to say that what's for me is for me, and everything that I'm doing is because I am supposed to be doing it, and I'm not supposed to be doing it because everybody else is doing it, or I'm not doing it because I need to be in the spot. I'm doing this because this is what I'm supposed to be doing, and not because I need to be in the public eye.
Yes.
While I love being in the public. I love attention. There's no other way of putting it. I love attention. I like being on stage. I like everyone's, cheers and applause. I live for the applause, as Lady Gaga said. But there's always gonna be someone above me. So I'm not the best. I'm not gonna be on top for what. Wait.
Hold on. I was about to say, hold on.
I'm not going to be on top for what somebody else is doing. I'm going to be on top.
Yes. Yes.
You needed to let it simmer.
Yes.
You needed to let it simmer.
Yes. That part. And I think that is the key, not just for you, but for everybody out there who you're stepping into your lane. Be on top for your lane. You don't have to be on top for my lane, right? Because guess what? No one can do it like you. If that's your assignment, no one can do your assignment the way Nevaeh is going to do that assignment. And talking about assignments, girl, you had a heavy assignment this season of your life. Whew.
This is mine.
Yeah. This book is on fire. Before we jump into this book, right, I want to talk about weapons of choice, because my weapon of choice right here, y'all, is a pen. But when I met Nevaeh, and I want to get a little closer so y'all can see this. Y'all see what's on that cover? Mm-hmm.
My name.
Mm-hmm.
My name.
Mm-hmm. And a pencil. So when I first met Nevaeh and we started doing some work together, right? I'm gonna just take a quick sip, y'all. Excuse me, excuse me.
I should take one too.
Yes, excuse us, excuse us. Oh, so good. Sis, thank you for recommending the tea, girl. It's hitting.
Yeah, I got you.
Woo. I remember our first session, right? It was virtual, y'all. So we were Zooming together. But one of the things that I remember was you had your journal and you had not a pen, but a pencil, and you were just like, and it was so, it was musical to me, like watching her in her element with this pencil, and I'm like, even the pencil was making a sound on the page, right? And we had this conversation, right? We spoke about this before, but I want you to tell the people who will be watching this, why a pencil? And yeah, just tell us, why a pencil? Why is that your weapon? Why? Tell them. Tell the people.
Well, going through life, I'm learning to not hold on to the past. With a pen is not erasable. Unless you buy a paper-made erasable pen, but that's another story.
It sure is, girl. The ink, after a while, it fades and your words will be gone. I did that.
But with a pencil, you can write new beginnings and forget old ends.
That's deep right there. That's deep right there. That's really deep right there.
Thank you.
I'm so holding on to my pen though. And you know why? Look, it says Dear Diary. Hey, y'all better get one. Come to her book release party. They'll be on hand for sale. Yes. All right, girl. So let's jump into this book.
This book, my baby.
Your baby. Her baby was born what day?
Was it the day it was published or the day that we pushed it into?
The day we pushed it.
That was June 19th.
Juneteenth? Perfect day. All right, girl. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to talk about the process of this book. Right? Why the name, Dear Diary, right? Talk about the cover. Talk to the people about your process of bringing this book to life.
So the title, first and foremost, I just finished watching Ginny and Georgia a little while ago. Ginny and Georgia season 3. You know, it took a year and a day for them to come out with that season. So I was so happy when they finally came out with it. In one of the episodes, for those who don't know, the main character, Ginny, likes writing poetry. And one of her poetry classes, her teacher was like, titles are very important. So their diary is very important. It's very important to me because I think of my poetry as my diary. And it's my feelings with a flow. So I titled it Their Diary because it's not just my diary, but it's the diary of other teens and even adults. And even adults, their feelings can be captured in a beautiful way. So that's why my book is named Their Diary. And I'm actually very surprised that I stuck with this title because this was just, I was workshopping it. I just threw out Their Diary, and the more I wrote this book, the more I realized the connections. Which I find that to happen a lot with my poetry as well. I will write a poem 2 years prior to something happens, and then I realize that, oh, this actually makes sense.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I get that. And tell us about the design of the cover.
So, my mom, being the brilliant genius that she is, she helped me design this cover as well. The eyes represent the eyes being the window to the soul. And a diary is like seeing into someone's soul because that's where all their feelings are. And the pencil is there because the pencil is my weapon of choice.
Yeah.
So that's why the cover is the way it is. The neutral background is just, it makes the black and the eyes, it makes everything stand out. So kind of like how I do.
Yeah. Yes, for the standing out. And talking about standing out, I want you to think about at the end of this book, which poem is standing out to you on this day? Because that's the poem that I want you to read for our audience.
Well, let's open up my collection of 40.
Okay.
And see.
You can do this too. Just contact me. I am the writing coach that you need. Paper. Yes.
I think I might have to go with
Available on Amazon. Yes.
that part.
Link dropping right after this vid. Okay? It will be in the comments. Make sure you support my girl. Okay.
I think
Buy 2 copies.
right.
One for a friend.
Right. Share the word. People
The
like to
word,
hear this.
literally.
I think the one that speaks out to me right now is My Truth, which is the introduction to this book. And I definitely say that this poem is the best introduction ever. Like, I never thought that one poem would be such a beautiful way to introduce the rest of my book, but it fits so perfectly. So, without further ado,
Coming to the stage, we have Nevaeh Edgecombe, known to you today as Solara.
my truth. Is there really a truth to me, or is it just a lie? Like lying in my bed, dark room, wide eyes watching me from all angles, so I have to lie and say, I'm fine. True, there's more to me than just a lie, so here's my truth. I dance. In more ways than just one, I dance around the stage, hips and feet breaking ground and shaking things, I dance. My pencil pirouettes along the page as I perfectly plan my great unfinished symphony. Why do I run like I'm running out of time? But other than dancing, I bleed. Like a wound that hasn't been covered with gauze, and the cause is my truth. I'm not the same person every day. It's a guarantee that you'll meet someone new. Nevaeh, Edgecombe, Solara, and someone completely out of the blue. That's just the truth. Let me take a step back and show you my truth.
Y'all better snap it up. Y'all heard it here first. Girl. Fire on the page. All right. So, as a writer, poet myself, there are days that we don't feel like writing, right?
Yeah.
But we know if we don't release it, it gets stuck somewhere in there, right? And it can develop into what we know as writer's block, right? Thinking about your writing journey for the past 4 months, what was one strategy that we used together that you felt was able, like, unlock that door that you were able to just, like, flow? Because I know we did a lot.
We did do a lot. We definitely did do a lot. One of my favorites was Tap In. That was the first one that we learned.
That was the first strategy.
And another one was using or finding a muse within music or a painting or photos or something like that. I listen to music nonstop. If you ask my mom or my dad or even my sister, my headphones are never off my head. They aren't. They're on my head or in my ears all the time, and I'm just listening to music. Like last year, I got my 2024 replay. 100 new songs.
Oh my
100, that playlist is like 10 hours long or
God.
more. And my average playlist is 10 hours long. And I have several playlists. I have a playlist for every mood. You can call me Inside Out because each playlist matches a different emotion, a different feeling, a different time. So I just love music so much. And actually, this is a perfect segue into one of my other poems.
Go ahead, girl.
So
They're waiting.
So there's one of the poems in my book that actually stemmed from a song called Turbulence. And people are gonna laugh. My parents do all the time. I listen to K-pop and I love it.
Serenity does too.
I love K-pop so much, and the thing is, but no matter what language I'm listening to in a song, I'm still gonna get the meaning regardless. I listen to songs from all over the world, like listen to songs in Spanish, Korean, Japanese, French, Italian. So I love music so much that it doesn't really care if I can understand it, because I will eventually.
That's right.
And Turbulence is a song by a group called T.E.A.
I listened to this one, okay? It was good. It was good.
You can trust me on this one. It's a really good song. And the meaning behind the song is you're young.
Mm-hmm.
So don't lose sight of who you are right now, focusing on where you're supposed to be or where people want you to be.
Mm-hmm.
So without further ado, Turbulence. Turbulence. Shaking, tossing, kind of like my life. That's why I love it. At the end of this road, who should I be? Where should I be? Who should I become? Reminds me of me. I'm just confused, don't know what to do. I don't dot my I's, cross my T's, or curve my U's, but it's okay to be us. It's okay to be here, just as we are tonight. Whenever I think of who I should be and who I should become, Turbulence reminds me that I'm still young, and the best is yet to come.
Yes, for the best is yet to come, y'all. Yes, yes, and yes. So, whew, girl, I need another sip. Mm-hmm. What are your friends saying? Because I know they know, girl. You public now.
Actually,
What are they saying?
One of my friends just received her copy.
Mm-hmm.
And she read the whole thing yesterday. As soon as she got it, she's like, Nevaeh, I'm cracking open this book and I'm reading it. And I said, okay, I hope you enjoy it. And she did. And she sent me a couple paragraphs on the feedback that she gave. And knowing this friend, she's a very avid reader, and she's also a fellow Hamilton head.
Wow.
So she picked up my Hamilton references.
Wow.
She picked up any movie references. She picked up my book references. And she loved the order. She understood why everything was where it's supposed to be. And she said that she could relate to it even if she's never experienced anything that was written in the book, which made me so happy, because not only was she able to feel what I was feeling, but she was able to enjoy it. And I was like, okay, well, that's it. I'm writing another book now, because if that's the case, then why don't I just push out 100?
That's right. That's right. And the cool part about writing books, right? Because y'all know I got books, right? Is that every season of your life as a poet is different, right? So every book of poetry that you're going to keep pushing out is going to testify about that season that you're in, right? You said something that I want you to just talk a little bit about, right? The order of the books, the poems in the book. Because unlike when I write my poetry to release it, I just whenever I write it, that's the order, right? But that didn't happen for this book for you. So I want you to talk about the order of the poems and what that process was like for you.
So on Juneteenth, which was the day that we read all the poems and organized them.
Yeah, that it was supposed to be an hour and a half, right?
One time, the meeting was at 11. We didn't end until like 4.
But it was worth it, right?
It was indeed worth it. Imagine if we tried to do that today, because today was supposed to be the day that we were supposed to do this.
It would have been crazy.
Nah,
It would have been, I think we would have been frustrated. You know what I'm saying? Now, today was just like, look, it's in our hands today.
Along with all the other merchandise.
Talk about, can we just take a pause before you answer that question? Just show all the merch, because look.
A notebook. There's the pen.
Hold that, girl. Let me grab some more stuff.
The pen. The tote. You got the Barnes and Noble set right there.
Yes, for the Barnes and Noble set. And
The mugs.
Yeah, while we out there, let me just put a little.
The shirts.
Look. We got merch. We got merch for days. All right, boo. So now, this is my stuff right here. Mine.
She gets the first pick.
Yeah. See
the
what
fresh
happens
batch.
when you're the writing coach. You get you get hooked up. So talk to us about the order.
So originally, and I think the first half of the book is exactly the time that I wrote the poems. I just wrote them, and because these were my sessions with Miss D, I was being coached, so everything just seemed to flow pretty naturally, especially because she was giving me the certain strategies to write for that specific session, so everything just made sense. But then, as we stopped the sessions and I started writing more on my own, I was like, I'm writing and all the feelings that I'm feeling right now don't align. And one thing about me, I write poems, they make no sense. So they make no sense until they do. And the order wasn't quite matching up the way I put them into the document, because I was writing when I was upset or angry or sad, and then I was writing when I was happy or if I was experiencing any other strong positive feelings. So I feel like that day would have taken less time if we didn't have to reorganize the order of the poems, but they make sense.
Yeah.
Like certain poems have segues into each other accidentally, because I wrote them at separate times. Like there was one point in time that I took like a 2-week break off of writing. So really I could have definitely done this sooner if I didn't take that break, but my writing power was just gone.
But breaks are good.
They are. Sometimes you need that recharge.
Yeah.
So I wrote one poem with Miss D, and then I wrote another one after that break. So with 2 weeks or more in between, there's these 2 poems. I wrote this instead of crying because, and Pretty Hurts are right next to each other in the book, and here's why. I wrote this instead of crying because what does crying do? Nothing but make your eyes red and your nose runny. Honestly, it isn't funny how much I like crying. Painting my pretty face with tears paints an invisible portrait of the pain I feel. But I wrote this instead of crying because it's the only thing I can do. When instead of painting my face with tears, I have to paint a smile on my face. Because smiles are pretty, but pretty hurts. So I wrote this instead of crying, waiting to paint my face in tears again. Now pretty hurts. Pretty hurts. Taping and tying, stitching and sewing, syringes and knives just to be satisfied with how I look. Pretty hurts. When I have to show a side of me that's not me, seeking validation from some boy just to feel pleased, to feel seen. then I regret my actions and they disgust me and are disgusting to my family, but I feel like I need it because pretty hurts. Hurts like hell, living and moving the way everyone is telling me to live and not giving me anything. Things like this are what destroy a girl's mental health, unhealthily destroying herself just to feel pretty hurts. So that pretty hurts part, and I wrote this instead of crying because, led me into pretty hurts as my next poem. So it just made sense. And I don't think it would have flowed as nicely if they were in completely separate parts of the book, like the way I originally had them.
Makes sense. It makes sense. The process, your process as a writer is going to be completely different from someone else's process. And that's one thing that as a writing coach was so great to look at Nevaeh through this process, right? To see her do it virtually, but to also see her do it on her own and come back together and have her read these poems. Like, she read every single poem out loud to us and was able to say, Miss D, I want to shift this poem here, I want to shift that poem there. So I was able to see her in a way y'all would never see her, but that's just my gift. But her evolution on the page, and just, you have to get this book. She's not gonna read y'all any more poems because y'all gotta come out and support her. All right,
right. Y'all got half a plate. So
you know what I'm saying?
Gotta play. You got a doggy bag. You need to have the real thing. Go to the restaurant and purchase.
Right. So tell the people when, because I know you're having a book release party.
I am.
And I know right now you have an Instagram where they can follow you, and your link for the book is ready there waiting for them. Tell them about your book release party, when it's happening, and your Instagram so they can go follow you and buy a ticket for her event.
Okay, so my book release party is August 31st. There is a link that has all the information. And my Instagram, so at Solara Shares. Pretty simple. SOLARA Shares.
Follow her today. Get her book and show up and support her at her book release party. Not only is she going to be the featured guest, she is going to be hitting the passion-filled poetry stages this summer. And not only that, we claiming that this book bestseller on Amazon. So we need this book to go viral, okay? So if you're watching this Tea with D, share it with somebody, okay? Buy a book, summer gift to somebody, all right?
Also, at the book release, I may be signing a few of those copies.
Woo-hoo!
So if you want a signed copy, make sure to attend.
Don't worry, that day she won't be using her pencil. She'll use a pen.
Yeah.
All right, girl. I know we've been talking a lot, right?
Let me take another sip.
Girl. Tea in a cup. Throw the pinky up. So before we wrap, I want you to think about all of the teenagers out there who are so proud of you right now. Not only did you push out a bestseller,
Amen,
book of poetry on Juneteenth, perfect day, 2025, year of grace. I want you to give them something that's worth holding on to.
Okay. There's not much for me to say other than you're you. Sit in it. You are who you're meant to be, and your path is designed for you. So the only person that has to accept it is you. And I know Ms. D said no more poems, but there's a quote.
Yes. Give them the quote, girl. I know which one it is.
Which this quote actually happens to be written on my shirt and on the back of the book. I am not perfect, but that's okay. I'm exactly where I need to be.
Yes, and that's the perfect way to end Tea with Miss D, because I'm Miss D. Nevaeh, okay. I want to thank you, Passionful family, for tuning in. I know it's been a long time, but look, it was worth it, right? So much more to tell y'all, but y'all got to come back. Got to keep y'all coming back, all right? Please share this video with someone. Come out and support Nevaeh. Follow her on IG. Follow me if you're not following me already.
Because what are you doing?
I mean, like,
what are you doing?
Listen.
What are you waiting for?
And if you are a teen poet and you know it and you're ready to push your book out into this atmosphere, hit me up. I am your writing coach. I will help you do it. Okay?
She gonna beat you down every time.
But we want to just pick our cups up last time. Nevaeh,
That's me.
thank you for having tea with me, boo.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Until next time, we love y'all.
Ow.
Peace.